This reminds me of a story. A story told of a community out in the rural area, and it had not rained for weeks. And so the crops were drying up in the fields, and they were just destitute, didn't know what they were going to do to fix the situation. And so finally, after weeks of hemming and hawing, they said, well, we need to pray to God for rain. And so they go to the preacher. They said, preacher, you need to hold a special service so that way it can rain. The preacher said, I'll hold the service, but your faith is going to turn. And so they have the first service the first week. Everybody comes in, they praying and shouting and everything. The preacher stands up in the middle of the service, looks out and says, I don't believe your faith is going to make this happen. And he sits back down. No rain. So the people, desperate, they come back. So we're going to do it again. So they came back the next week. And they come in, they sit down, they're praying and shouting even harder this time than they were the last time. But the preacher stands up, looks out over the congregation and says, your faith is lacking. There will be no rain. And again, no rain. So now they're getting frustrated. They said, we're going to try this one more time, but we're going to get us another preacher because he don't know what he's talking about. And so they get ready to come this time. They come into the church is packed. The preacher stands up and says, I see signs of faith. God's going to bring the rain. Sure enough, as they begin to pray, it began to rain and pour down. The people are all excited. They're like, yes, finally. We finally got the rain that we needed. And so, but there was one person. And he was a little confused. So he goes to the preacher and says, preacher, now I don't understand what happened. We came the first week and prayed, nothing. We came the second week and prayed, nothing again. But how come this week when we prayed, the rain showed up? The preacher said, every week when you came, I was looking for signs of faith. Didn't see it the first week, didn't see it the second week. But this week, one little girl brought an umbrella. So how are you going to pray for rain and not prepare to get wet?